This episode of Around the Oval is brought to you by Todd Pennington with Renovation Mortgage. Hey, Ohio State fans, Alex Gleitman here, back with another edition of Around the Oval, brought to you by Todd Pennington with Renovation Mortgage. Today, we have a very special guest with us all the way down in Bradenton, Florida. Consensus top 50. Some people might have him a little bit higher. Prospect, offensive lineman, Tyler Booker. Tyler, thanks for joining the show today. Really appreciate you coming on. How are you doing?
No problem. It's an honor to be on. Glad to be on. I'm great. Ready to go.
Absolutely. And, I want to just make it clear to everyone listening. You go to school in Florida. You started your career in Bergen Catholic in Jersey, but you're a New Haven guy all the way, New Haven, Connecticut native. I know that's important to you. So just want to make sure everyone listening knows that we got a Connecticut guy. I was actually born in Connecticut myself, so I love it. Yeah, I was born in Stamford, so we got that going for us. But I don't think the listeners are interested in that. We'll get rolling here. Tell us a little bit. I mean, you guys were fortunate to be in Florida at a place like IMG, where you were able to have a season this past year. Tell us a little bit about your season and how it went.
It was really special. It was almost like a movie. They could really make a movie about this past season. It was crazy how a lot of people from all over really came and become one collective unit. And I feel like that's really all of IMG's years. But we had a bunch of kids come. It was more than usual because we had a lot of kids come from states where football wasn't being played. I feel like the most special part about our season is really the off season, where we didn't even know if we were going to have a season or not. So we were just playing. We were just playing for the sake of playing. We were grinding for the sake of grinding. We were preparing for the sake of preparing, because we remember some days that we thought they were going to shut down football in Florida, but we still went on to have practice, have some of our best practices that week when they were deciding if they were going to shut down or not. So I feel like us falling in love with the grind as one team was special. I feel like nobody else in the country had built the kind of bond that we built that off season. And then obviously as the season went along, we just kept building chemistry. We kept setting new goals for ourselves. We had 250 rushing yards last week. Okay, let's get 300. All right, we had 300 last week. Let's get 350. So just us continually setting goals and never being satisfied.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I was talking to Coach Acosta a lot in the offseason when it was kind of unknown. He was like, at worst case, we got a PG team, we have a varsity team, we have our IMG national team. Like, we could probably play within, with like scrimmage within each other at worst case scenario. But, I know he was really hoping for a season, so I'm glad you guys got to do that. And as you said, there was guys like JJ McCarthy. He wasn't playing a season in Illinois, so he came down and he played with you guys at IMG. And there was, I know, a bunch of others like that. So I'm glad you guys got to have your season and do that. Now, playing at IMG, this is going to be what, your third year, right? You were a freshman year at Bergen Catholic and then the last 2 years at IMG. I think a lot of people, they just think that IMG, a lot of kids go there to get more recruiting hype or things like that. I mean, for you, I know whether you were at Bergen Catholic, at IMG, at New Haven High School, whatever it is, like, you would have gotten offers just because you're a very talented guy. But I think what a lot of people don't know is how much IMG prepares you as a person, as a player, just in so many different ways to prepare for the next level. Talk to us a little bit about, what being at IMG means to you and how it's made you a better man and a better person.
If I could really describe IMG in one word and what it means to me is greatness. And I say that in the sense of everything you do, you have to be great. Everything you do, you have to have the want to be great, or there's no point of doing it at all. I'm gonna be real with you guys. It's not fun being away from your family. It's not fun not being able to see your friends all the time. It's not fun being able to go home, not being able to go home when you want to. So you really have to fall in love with the grind while being here. You have to strive to be great in all facets of life while you're here. Because if not, what was the point of coming? Why did you really come? So I say just striving for greatness. And to me personally, it's just preparation. For the preparation you get here at IMG is second to none. As you know, I haven't been able to go visit colleges, but as a result of that, I've been doing a lot of Zooms, learning about the ins and outs of a lot of programs. And I see that IMG is structured the same school academically and athletically as most of these colleges I'm looking to go to. And then I just had a lot of conversation with college coaches, be like, "Oh yeah, I love IMG guys because they're ready to make an impact day one." So I appreciate the IMG Brotherhood putting out a good name for me and the other senders to come. And it's just our job to continue to live up to that name and continue to actually produce. And just what we do here is different. Like I had my power clean match yesterday after a whole workout. So it's crazy about how IMG prepares you physically, mentally, and personally for the next level.
Yeah, and I think what people don't realize too, a lot of people think, oh, it's just a place where they go to school and they play football. They're basically, it's a football factory. But I know from talking to a lot of you guys over the years, it's actually a pretty rigorous academic, it's like going to college. I mean, it's basically structured like going to college. It's not a walk in the park. It's not free A's for everyone. So I respect that for you guys. I mean, I know the schedules you guys have of having to wake up and go to practice and go to workouts and go to class. You're truly learning how to, I think that's a big part of the adjustment from high school to college is a lot of guys who enroll early, they do it not just to get the spring ball and the weight conditioning, but to get adjusted to college life, because that's a big part of the high school to college jump. But I think you guys come in very prepared in that aspect. And I know at Ohio State, guys like Legend Cavazos, most recently has definitely come in ready in that aspect. So I'm sure you will wherever you end up too. The other guy I wanted to talk about at IMG is your head coach, Bobby Acosta. He's a guy who's coached at my high school when I was there, Marlboro High School, New Jersey, but he's coached at a bunch of high schools. He's coached at college level, Syracuse, Bucknell. He's been all over. And he took the job at IMG last year. Talk to us a little bit about playing for Coach Acosta and what it's like to be able to learn from a guy who's been at, that Power 5 level that you're going to be playing at in, I guess, a year from now.
Coach Acosta, he's really a player's coach. He's everything you want to coach as a player. He's always around. He's always making sure we're good. He's just really one of us. I remember one of his first practices. I was like, "Come on, meet me up top, coach." I give him a shoulder bump. He tumbled over a few times to laugh at this because he knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, he's really a player's coach, and I feel like that's the best way to get the most out of a player because we see ourselves within him, how his competitive nature is shown in the way he just exudes competition. I feel like we are really drawn to that, and just being here at IMG Academy, it's always good to have somebody you can lean on, like Coach Acosta. Like it's like you need anything, you go to him. You need some water for your room, he got you. Some laundry detergent, he has you. He's just a great coach in football wise. He's the man as far as offense goes.
Yeah, he's the man. And, I know he's probably demanding of you guys and expects a lot out of you, but he gives it, 110% every day himself. And I'm sure you guys see that as players and respect it. And he's a lot of fun probably to play for also. So he knows how to have fun. He knows how to work hard, which is exactly what you want. Now, he's also a guy that's going to be able to help you guys in your recruitments a lot. I mean, he can help you sift through some of the BS and things like that, he's going to hear. And he's got relationships with a lot of college coaches across the country to be able to provide his input if you guys want it. But tell us a little bit about your recruitment. What's going on? What's the latest in your recruitment? How many schools you still considering? And where are you in the process?
Well, I made a top 10 around sometime. New Year's Eve, I dropped the New Year's Eve, so I'm still considering all 10 of those schools. I'm still currently working on cutting it down by April 12th, my birthday, cutting it down then, and then cutting down to 5 and just focusing on all 5 schools I'm taking officials to. So that's where I am in my recruitment, but I don't have my heart set on one place. I'm still open to most schools. I just want to find a place that'll help develop me as an athlete, obviously, but as a man, and a school that will put me in place to go into a field after I'm done playing football and make a lot of money doing something I really enjoy outside of football.
Yeah, for sure. And for those who don't know or missed the announcement, his top 10: Florida, Ohio State, Georgia, LSU, Penn State, Texas A&M, Oregon, Alabama, Miami, and then was Jackson State's the last one, right? With prime time. Um, yeah, no, that's a great top 10. And so, you mentioned official visits. Right now, it's still unknown when the NCAA is going to open up the dead period, but it sure looks like, knock on wood, that June is going to be. I think everyone's expecting June to happen. You're starting to see kids schedule official visits and things like that. Have you scheduled any of your official visits yet?
I've scheduled 2 so far
Which
with,
ones?
with Florida and Georgia.
Florida and Georgia. When are you going to be at those two?
I'll be at Florida the first week of June, and I'll be at Georgia the third week of June.
Got it. And do you know of any other schools that you're going to be taking official visits to yet?
Not as of now. I'm still waiting to narrow down my list of 5 and make sure those are the schools that I really want to go all in on and really focus on, so I can just take my officials to those schools.
Yeah. When it comes to Ohio State, talk to us about your recruitment with them. I know they've been on you for a little bit now. How do you feel about Ohio State? Who have you been talking to there? What have they been telling you?
Ohio State actually took a little while to offer me, so as a as a young sophomore, I wasn't too happy about that. But as I've gotten to understand the reason why they took the time to get to know me and the reason why they waited to offer me, I really appreciated that, and that really attested to their character. Like, that showed me that um, they're very careful within the recruiting process. They want to make sure they bring the right guys in for the program, the right guys to help further the program. And I feel very comfortable going somewhere like that, to know where I'll be around a bunch of like-minded individuals who seek greatness like me, who seek um, national championships like I do. So I really appreciated that, looking back on it. And
Yeah. And go ahead.
I've, I've been talking to Coach Day a lot, Coach Stud a lot. I've been talking to those two a good amount, good in the relationship with both of them. I really like what they have to offer athletically, obviously, but what they have for the athletes to do as far as finding a job after football. I don't see any other school doing that, and it's really elite.
Yeah. And, I guess for you, the interesting thing is, again, you're from New Haven, Connecticut. So it's not like you're a kid from the South that's tied to necessarily staying down there. I know you mentioned Florida, Georgia, Alabama's on your list, LSU. Those are big time SEC schools. They're also big time football schools. But I would guess that there's no, being willing to go to first New Jersey, then Florida for high school. You don't have any preference of where you go to college. You're just going to look for the best fit.
Yeah, best fit for me. I played in the snow, and I played when it was almost 100 degrees. Humidity was crazy. So where I play really isn't a factor. I just want to go somewhere where I can continue to further myself as an athlete and a man.
Yeah, and Ohio State, I mean, outside of just I know that Real Life Wednesdays and Life After Football program that they built there and have sustained for a while, starting with Coach Meyer, now going with Coach Day. What are the things that they're telling you that you're liking from them about, why you might be a fit there? I know all these schools, you take Alabama, Ohio State, LSU, all the top schools. I mean, it's really, other than geography, there's not like you could go to any of those schools. They produce pros every year. They're competing for national championships. But what is it about Ohio State that their pitch, like what is their pitch to you, I guess is the best way to phrase the question.
Really just how I really belong there, how I'm the kind of person that fits in, about how Ohio State is notorious for their competitive nature, notorious for their legacy, and how they really strive for greatness just like I do. I'm going to be around, like I said, I'll be around a bunch of like-minded individuals. But life after Ohio State will be very prosperous as well, because I've heard a bunch of guys that have gone through Real Life Wednesdays, have been a part of those, been inspired by those, but also the Life After Football program where they do the job fair. So you're set up for life after football. And then, God willing, I do go to the NFL. They just had 3 offensive linemen signed for over $150 million combined a few weeks ago. So that's pretty enticing as well. And it just shows their longevity, because all those guys are on their second or third contract. And that means a lot in the NFL. And that just shows how Ohio State really prepares you for the next level.
Yeah, the crazy thing is I think Lindsley was like maybe a 6th-round pick by the Packers, and Elfline was, I mean, he won the Remington, but he was a middle round guy too. Now Lindsley's the highest paid center in the league. So sometimes, they just develop him well, and maybe it doesn't show up on, or it's not as sexy as some of the other guys on film, but they get the job done and they get their guys paid. So I know you don't want to reveal kind of your top 5, but would you say Ohio State is in a good position or high consideration to get one of your visits?
They're in good position. I'm still sorting through some other schools that I've built a great relationship as well. But it's really hard to see myself going on my official visits, and Ohio State not being one of them. But if I have a better relationship with another school, that's where it'll be. But I could really see myself taking the official to Ohio State.
For sure. And you've never been out there before, right?
I haven't.
Yeah, I think it will be good. I'm sure you haven't. Have you been to any of the schools, any of the top 10 schools?
I have. I've been to Georgia, Florida. I went to the Alabama youth camps when I was a little bit younger. Where else have I been? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure these visits are going to be pretty important for you when you as far as making your decisions, seeing everything, being around the players, being around the staff, and just kind of getting that feeling. What's the timeline you're looking at? I know you mentioned 2 visits in June. Right now, are you looking to take as many as you can in June and then make a decision as fast as possible, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, in the perfect world, I'll take all my official visits. Go home, really relax with my family for a few weeks, and then make that decision because I've been working my butt off for this moment. I feel like I deserve to reap the benefits that I sowed and just really take it all in. And then with the clear mind and a lot of prayer, I'll make my decision probably 2 weeks after I'm done taking all my officials, right before I go back to IMG, because I want to be done with the recruiting processes. As fun as it's been, it's gotten a little stressful here and there. So I'd just like to be done so I can focus on getting another national championship with my team.
Yeah, and I was going to say that the other thing is, I mean, if the window opens up, you never know when it's going to close. So getting those visits, something you guys haven't been able to do over the last year, is probably pretty critical. I mean, if you were able to get to Ohio State and some other places last summer for camps or things like that, I mean, you might have been ready to make your decision right now. So I imagine, once you get out to all the colleges and you're able to sit down, as you said, with your family, kind of remove yourself from all the craziness and buckle down and make a decision that's going to be important. And I guess the last football question I have for you is, second to last one, I should say, is what's going to be most important to you when you sit down with your family or anyone else important to make this decision? What's going to be important about that school that ultimately prevails as your choice?
I feel like I belong, and I feel like that's a place for me. And as cliche as this might sound, it has to feel like home, because obviously I want to have a great football career wherever I go to school. But at the same time, I have to make sure that I'm in a place where I'm comfortable, and football is outside the equation, because as I've seen in my 3 years of high school, football's a business. I went to go when I first signed up to go to Bergen Catholic. Coach Nunzio Campanelli was the coach. He got a job at Rutgers. I played under his brother Vito, who's a great coach. I came here, played under Coach Wright. He went on a good college job, and here's Coach College. Love Coach College. That just shows me everything happens for a reason. And I feel like these past 3 years of high school have really prepared me for the business of football, and it's really opened my eyes of people are going to do what's best for them. So at the same time, I have to do what's best for me and make sure I can see myself at that school where football was not a part of the equation.
Yeah, and you're an interesting prospect, because when I first got to see you at Bergen Catholic, I think a lot of people were thinking defensive tackle early on, and as you got older and you grew into your body and all those things, you ended up, I think most people are looking at you as an offensive tackle right now, right? So, I mean, I think you're good enough still to be able to play Power 5 ball at D tackle, but what was it? I guess I just find it interesting. Like, what was it in your head, or what moment were you like, I'm an offensive tackle?
So the story goes, I balled out during spring ball my freshman year here at IMG as a defensive tackle, but they cross-trained me. So they have been plotting on me since day one. Haven't put off the line. But not in all seriousness, I was still on D tackle halfway through all season, halfway through, and then one of our offensive guard, we were already low on offensive lineman, one of our guards towards ACL during practice, and so I had to move over to that side of the ball. Me and JC Latham, JC played defensive line as well, so we both moved over. I played the season, and as soon as the season was over, I was like, all right, let's go, Coach Logan, the D-line coach. I was like, all right, I'm back. I'm all yours. Let's go. Let's get this D-line stuff going again, without really processing how great of a season I had on the offensive side of the ball. So as off-season goes on, I'm training as a defensive tackle, but quarantine comes around. And right before quarantine, I did really well at the Under Armour camp. And I think the rankings came out like soon after, and they referenced Under Armour camp. They were like, yeah, he's a great defensive tackle, but we feel like he's one of the top offensive tackles in this class. So I took a step back and realized that I made a call to a bunch of the coaches that were recruiting me. They said they saw me as an offensive tackle. And then the draft came around, and I saw four offensive tackles were drafted in the first round, and only one defensive tackle was drafted in the first round. So like, I got to make a business decision. So I called up Coach Acosta, and I asked him what he thought about it. He said, we're down to do whatever you would like, but ultimately we see that you have a higher ceiling on the offensive side of the ball. I had that conversation with both of my parents. We decided that I do have a higher ceiling on the offensive side of the ball. So God really works in mysterious ways. So I feel like Derek getting injured that year really set me up for my whole career.
Yeah, for sure. And it should be exciting for you and college coaches that this has only been a thing for like a year and a half, 2 years now, and you still have so much potential to go. And I know you're working hard every single day down there to reach that potential. So we're going to let you go. But one last thing, we're going to put you on the hot seat. New Haven, for those who don't know, you guys definitely got to get there because I'm from New Jersey, New York. Like I think, that pizza, it's different. That pizza, I think is still best in America, but New Haven is close second. I'll let you go first. What's your favorite pizza in New Haven?
A lot of people will either say Pepe's or Sally's, but I'm a modern pizza type of guy. Modern pizza? Modern is the best pizza in New Haven.
All right. I love Pepe's, but I'm going to have to check out modern pizza next time I drive through. It's not too far. Maybe we'll make a little road trip of it on a weekend one day, but I'm going to hold you to that, and I'll text you and let you know what my Barstool rating is on modern pizza. But Tyler, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. I know we interrupted some homework for you, so we'll let you get back to that. But thanks again. Wish you the best of luck in your recruitment, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon.
Likewise. Have a good one.
This episode of Around the Oval was brought to you by Todd Pennington with Renovation Mortgage. If you've been thinking about refinancing or buying a house, check out our sponsor, Todd Pennington with Renovation Mortgage. They offer low rates for refinancing and home purchase loans, including first-time home buyer programs, down payment assistance, and cash-out home equity loans. Check out revolutionmortgage.com/tpennington.